JFD, just fair and direct.
Okay, hello and good morning everyone. Welcome to JFD Traders Espresso with me, Darius Anucauskas. Today is the 15th of October 2021, so yep, welcome everyone. Welcome to this Friday's morning session where we're going to have a very quick look at the markets, a few of the charts, the usual stuff. But before we do that, as always, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimer. So, the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation, should not be considered as such, and does not in any way constitute an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. As always, I'll give you a few seconds to read the rest and we can continue. Okay, so now then, also just before we jump into the charts, quick mentioning of our JFD YouTube channel, to which you can always subscribe to in order not to miss any of our upcoming videos, and of course our JFD Bank website and specifically our JFD research page, which we also update on a daily basis. So you have to check us out here on jfdbank.com and click on the research tab right there on the top. So now then, so I have a few instruments to go through. I'm not going to spend too much time on some of them. I just wanted to quickly mention those, but yeah, don't be surprised about the too shocked about the list here on the right. Now, Kettlebell, yes, hello, good morning to you too. I hope you're having a wonderful start of the day. So yeah, guys, jumping into Nikkei, just a quick update here. So yep, we had a nice pop here above this barrier. I talked about a lot about it this morning, and yep, yesterday, and yep, we finally popped above it and we moved higher. So in a way, everything kind of worked out nicely here for the bulls. We're closed for the week already, so yep, we'll continue monitoring Nikkei next week. But look at this beautiful kind of reversal here from this 200-day EMA. As in this week, when I talked about it, I said that given that we were still trading above the 200-day EMA, there was still a good chance for this one to move higher. But after we did that, after we rebounded from that 200-day EMA, we found resistance near this 28,581 level, and then what I said that if we pop above it, then yes, this could open the door towards higher levels here, and yep, we pushed further north. So let's see how this one's going to play out next week. I'm expecting this one maybe to continue moving higher, especially if, let's say, to the US indices will move higher today as well. But yeah, let's see how all that is going to play out. However, with Nikkei, I'm going to keep an eye on this downside line taken from the high of the 14th of September, which could provide temporary hold up. Shanghai Composite has still around 50 something minutes left of trading, but yep, as I mentioned to you yesterday and actually this whole week, we were getting into this little squeeze, and then yesterday I said that, well, we were breaking already that we were near that downside line initially, but as you can see, we've ended the day just kind of just in here in between these two lines, and well, we broke the downside line and pushed higher. So yep, this kind of created this little positivity here on the Shanghai Composite. However, to get a little bit more excited with the upside scenario, well, I would rather maybe wait for that push above the 3,615 level. But already that I mentioned that already this week, so the plan stays the same. The German index, DAX, and yeah, look at this beautiful move here yesterday. So pushed higher, and yep, we've tested beautifully this other level, the one that I talked about previously. I had this one still on the chart, the 15,454 territory. We managed to reach that, and we managed to overshoot it by a little bit. So good, I would say good result, good achievement here. Now the big question here is what will happen with this downside line, and if we take a look at the cash index right now, Just bear with me one moment. So yep, the price is actually at around 15,530 territory. So basically we are now, I think we're slightly above this downside line. So, which means that maybe we could see a continuation move higher today. But again, let's see how that's going to play out. If we stay above this downside line, then yes, I'll aim for some higher levels. But if we don't, well, I mean, maybe a bit of a setback here could be possible. However, let me just adjust a few levels here. I mean, some of them are no longer valid. This is what I'm going to keep an eye on. My next target for the upside is going to be around this 15,700 territory, so roughly around here near the highs of the 23rd and the 27th of September. So that's what I'm going to be aiming for next. If we stay above this downside line, if we drop back below it, I'll aim for the 21-day EMA just for the sake of it initially. I mean, just to see if that's going to play out. But of course, if it starts dropping somewhere below this 15,250 territory, well, maybe that's where we could, after which we could consider some maybe lower levels. But also keep your eyes on this little short-term tentative upside line taken from the low of the 6th of October, and which, if gets broken, then yes, could open the door to slightly lower levels. Erica, yes, I can see you in the chat room. Good morning to you too. Hope you're also having a wonderful start of Friday. Now jumping into NASDAQ quickly. So NASDAQ did push higher, broke the downside line, and yep, stayed above it, but found kind of resistance near this 15,040 territory, or actually it overshot it a little bit. But let's put it this way. I mean, it stayed somewhere around this area. If we take a look at the cash index right now, we should be a little bit higher. Yes, we are higher, and we are above that hurdle, and we're currently sitting at around 15,115 level. So basically everything's looking quite positive here, and I would say that if it continues to trade above this hurdle, above this barrier, then yes, we'll continue kind of slowly aiming higher. My next target could be this 15,357 zone, marked by the high of the 23rd of September, and then we'll just slowly take it from there. For the downside, I would need to see at least a drop back below this downside line here, and then yep, we could consider maybe a bit of a move lower, at least maybe towards this 14,636, or I mean if that gets broken, of course, then yes, certainly lower levels could be met. But at the moment, everything's looking a little bit more on the positive side. So let's see if we can push a bit further north. The dollar, yep, did drift lower yesterday a little bit, but then kind of recovered somewhat. But then basically it kind of stayed above it, above that 21-day EMA. So initially, what I said to you previously when I was talking about in the beginning of this week, basically I said if this upside line gets broken, then I'll aim low. I'll aim for slightly lower levels. We could aim for that slightly kind of larger correction to the downside, because don't forget that we're still trading above this other upside line taken from the low of the 3rd of September. And yeah, so my next target was the 21-day EMA, and if that got broken, then my next target would have been this 93.68 level. And to be honest, it's going to still stay the same if we do see another move lower here. Initially, once again, I'll aim for that 21-day EMA as previously, and then after that, and the 93.68 level could be a good possibility as well. And then, of course, not to mention already, of course, this upside line. But we'll get to that point if we do see that drop lower. For the upside, well, first of all, let's get rid of this upside line, no longer needed, but still I'm going to keep an eye on the barrier, this 94.50 territory, and yep, if that gets cleared, then certainly yes, we could consider maybe slightly higher levels. Gold is stuck here near this near the 200-day EMA. I talked about it yesterday, if you remember, and basically I said that if you want to aim for some higher levels, wait for that pop above the of that 200-day EMA. Well, we kind of slightly got the pop, but as you can see, by the end of the day, still the bears managed to pressure the daily candle here, the body of the daily candle, back below the 200-day EMA. Today we're still trading below it, but we're stuck above the 100-day EMA, so we're in this little kind of area here. So we're going to continue monitoring this, and I would say that as long as it stays above this this barrier, this 1787 level, then yeah, I'll continue aiming higher. My next target is the 1809 zone, approximately around here, marked by the high, near the high of the 14th of September. With the downside, now, even if it drops below this 1787 territory, I'll take a bit of a neutral stand, because we do have this now. We do have this little tentative upside line, which is kind of, I would say, maybe could be doing the job. I mean, at the moment we just only have 2 tests here, but if, let's say, if it drifts lower here, then this could be seen as a bit of a corrective move here to the downside. However, if this upside line gets broken and we drop back below the 1770 territory, somewhere around here, then yes, maybe you could consider the downside. But at the moment, that scenario is slightly off the table. Silver, similar story, but this one is a little bit more interesting, because we broke the downside line here, taken from the high of the 11th of June. Oh, and by the way, with gold as well, let's have a look at, we do also have this little downside line here, but it's still it remains intact. So yesterday we had an attempt to break it. We did fractionally, but yeah, it held here. So basically, you can keep an eye on this downside line here on the gold as well. If it holds, then yes, we could see a slide. But if it breaks, then if it will follow silver, then maybe that's where it could become a little bit more interesting. So long story short, with silver here, I mean, we do have this downside line that got broken. We stayed above it, and now it's kind of, even if we see a bit of a retracement back down, as long as the price remains above this downside line, there is still a possibility for silver to move higher. My next target is only the 23.96 or the 24.29 level. I'll aim for those initially, but I'll reevaluate everything again if we do reach those. And for the downside, I would rather wait for a move back below this downside line and a drop below the 22.88 level right here, which, as you can see, previously acted as a good area of support and resistance, then slightly support here again. And yep, if it breaks this level, then well, we could consider maybe a bit of a move lower. We also have this upside line here, and so basically all this could come in line here nicely. US oil, which is WTI oil, so yep, continues its journey north, and look at this, I mean, spectacular move here. So basically we are now testing the highs of, first of all, let's get rid of this Fibonacci, no longer needed, I think. Didn't really work out, I would say. This is where I have to admit, but yeah, let's have a fresh look at this then. Basically, we're now testing the current highest point of October. If we break that, then my next target is the this one right here. Let me just put this one in the chart. This A4.10 zone, which is, just to remind you, the low of the let me just zoom in here a little bit more, just to be a little bit more precise, actually. So this is the one that I'm talking about. So that's the low of the 7th of November of 2012. So yeah, this is what I'm aiming for right now. Let's see if that gets reached. But again, for that, I need to see a pop above this barrier, above this current highest point of October, and if that happens, then yes, we will aim for higher levels. Now quickly on a few cryptos here. Bitcoin Cash. So as you know, Bitcoin is popping or continues to move higher. Bitcoin Cash did move nicely to the upside as well, and so far, I mean, this 586, if you remember, I talked about this yesterday, and I said that if this 586 level continues to provide support, and we see the crypto popping above this little short-term tentative downside line here, taken from the high of the 6th of September, then well, this could open the door towards towards higher levels. And basically for now, I mean, everything seems to be working out according to the plan, so that's great news. But we're kind of stuck near this this 635.70 level, marked by the high of the 7th of October. I do understand that we overshot it a little bit, but nevertheless, it's somehow providing that little resistance so far. But if we clear that level, then, well, yes, of course, we'll aim for some higher levels. Litecoin, similar story. So basically, I'm picking up on some of the cryptos that still might have some value, or not value. Sorry, the wrong word to use, but kind of an opportunity. Let's say if you already saw Bitcoin and Ethereum popping nicely to the upside, maybe these could follow suit as well. But they still need to overcome some barriers first. So, like for example, Bitcoin Cash and Litecoin here, you can see this 187.20 zone is the one to watch. If that gets, if we pop above this, then my next target is the 195.40 level. Jumping into Ripple, and yeah, also trying to to follow the big brothers, Bitcoin and Ethereum, and yep, Ripple is also trying to make a move higher here. Of course, it also has some obstacles here. I mean, like for example, here we do have this tentative downside line taken from the high of the 6th of September, and in a way, it could move a little bit more north. It may be towards that 1.20 territory. And here it could meet that downside line, which if it gets broken, of course, then yes, could open the door towards some higher levels. And this is the level to watch, actually, the highest point, the current highest point of October, near the 1.2292 level. Jumping into a few pairs, AUD JPY, so continues to rally. Look at this. I mean, yesterday I said that my next target is the area in between this 84.19 and 25 levels, 26 levels, and we managed to reach that perfectly. We managed to overshoot that, and well, we continue to push higher. So let's have a look where we could go next here, and let me just recycle one of these lines. Always recycle, guys. There's a hidden message for you there. But looking at this picture here, I mean, the 85.20 territory approximately around here could be the one to watch. That's the highest point of June. Yeah, the question here is, could we reach that earlier, before, let's say, we do a bit of a retracement? Now, don't get me wrong, I mean, at some point we will have that little retracement back down. However, let's see how the equity markets perform. If those continue to rally, then maybe the Japanese yen would remain under selling pressure, and basically here this pair would continue moving nicely to the upside. But again, I would say this arrow, let me just actually reuse it, because it's actually going to be valid for this scenario here. So even if we do retrace back down, but if the pair stays somewhere above this 84.25 or 20 zone, then maybe a nice little rebound here could be possible. For the downside, I would like to see a drop below this 84.20 territory, and this would confirm a larger kind of move, maybe correction to the downside here, here basically we could see maybe a move towards this upside line. But again, in terms of the downside, for now there is no clear signal for that, so let's continue aiming higher. Evu, I can see in the chat room, yes, always recycle and never fly. Okay, so let me leave this up to every individual itself. So yep, I mean, you do what you think is correct, but yeah, try not to kind of make others suffer, let's put it this way. But anyway, it's a debatable, everything's debatable, so yeah, let's not get into all that. But yeah, thank you for the comment. NZD USD. So looking at this picture here, you can see a nice pop, a good pop yesterday. Look at this. I mean, we broke this downside line, we pushed higher, we moved above the 0.6982 level, and we overcame all these EMAs, and right now we're trading above those, and we continue to push higher. So everything's looking quite positive here for this pair. Continues to look quite positive. My next target is this downside line. This is what I'm going to be aiming for initially. We might overcome that, but eventually if we just stay below it, if the body of the daily candle remains below it, then, well, maybe we'll have to just reevaluate everything again, and maybe this arrow could be drawn this way. But again, let's not rush into anything for now. Basically we are aiming higher here a little bit, and like I said, my next target is this downside line. USD CAD quick update. So of course, oil continues to push nicely to the upside. USD CAD continues to push nicely to the downside, and we are now below this 1.2422 level. This was one of my targets initially when I said that if we drop below this 1.2583 territory, then we managed to reach that. Of course, it's very tempting right now to counter trade, and go for maybe for the upside. However, the short-term trend right now is still to the downside, guys. So be very careful. My next target here could be this 1.2303 level, marked by the low of the 6th of July, or in other words, the lowest point of July. Or then we could target this little AA level. The low of the 23rd of June near the 1.2252 level. So again, these are good potential targets here. Initially, like I said, I'm going to aim for that 1.23 area, and then we will take it from there, guys, because maybe then we could see a nice little rebound here, maybe a bit of a corrective move higher, but again, let's not over speculate on this one too much for now. Look at it this way: if oil continues to rally, then well, USD CAD could continue moving to the downside. US dollar against the Turkish lira. Now this is total madness here. I mean, if I can say it this way, we've reached that 50% retracement on the Fibonacci. I mean, look at this, guys. In a week's time, it's just kind of from 9 to 920, and yeah, I mean, that's I hope they know what they're doing in there, but yeah, let's see how this is going to eventually play out. I mean, the pair just continues to create these all-time highs, and look at the steep up move here. I mean, it's yeah, it's just, this is a monthly chart, by the way, so at the moment I would say it's just it seems like it's one-way traffic here, but let's see how it's going to play out near from the technical side. Let's see how this pair is going to play out near this 50% retracement on the Fibonacci, because this is where it's currently getting a hold up. This is roughly around that 9.21 territory or something like that. If it gets a hold up here, maybe a bit of a retracement back down could be possible, but again, this is a very tricky one. The next target, if we look at the extension, then indeed it's near the 9.4344 level, so approximately around there. Right? Again, yeah, this is talk about a bit of madness here. Then yeah, this is a good example of that. Jumping into US dollar against the Russian ruble, also that's something that I mentioned in the beginning of this week as well, during this week, that basically I'm looking at this scenario. If we do pop a little bit higher, but find a hold up somewhere below the 72 territory, another slide could be possible, and well, this is what happened. Another slide was possible, and it did happen, and it drifted lower, and it dropped below the 71.55 level right here, the one that I talked about. This confirmed a forthcoming lower low, and now my next target is the 70.45 territory here, marked by the low of the 21st of July of 2020. But again, also keep your eyes on the oil market, and yeah, if oil continues to rise, then well, it could provide a bit of strength to the Russian ruble. So, so yeah, we could see this one then drifting nicely to the downside. This pair, I mean. GBP NZD, so look at this beautiful drop here. So of course NZD strengthened, and well, this had an effect on the pair. We call it, I wouldn't say collapsed, but just sold off sharply, and we're now aiming for, initially we're aiming for this low, the low, the 23rd of September, near the 1.936869 level, and then we will take it from there, guys, because we do have this strong area of support. However, for me to be a little bit more on the safe side, if let's say I would given that let's say, or given that I missed this drop here, and yeah, I missed it, so it's very tempting to kind of try and jump on the bandwagon here, but be very careful near these two levels of support, potential levels of support. If those somehow do provide that hold up, maybe a bit of a retracement here back up could be possible. In that case, I will patiently wait for a drop below this 1.9340 zone in order to go for lower levels, because then of course the sellers could regroup here and yep, try to push this one lower. But again, let's see if that's going to play out. For now, now I'm just keep aiming for this area. Like I said, I've missed the opportunity here to the downside, but again, you need to accept that things like that happen. So let's wait now. Let's not rush into anything, and let's see how it's going to behave near this area. If it rebounds, okay, that's great. But if it rebounds, but then let's say struggles to move back above its EMAs here, another slide could be possible. Euro GPY continues to rally and continues to push north, and my next target here is actually it's already been reached, 132.43. Yep, and slightly above that we do have this little area here, marked by the high of the 23rd of June near the 132.70 level. So yeah, good result here, but can it reach this level? Of course, like I said, it's very tempting to look at maybe the downside right now, maybe for a bit of a corrective move lower. However, we have not received a signal yet, so waiting for that, and of course it could be very interesting, it could be very tempting, but again, continue monitoring the situation in the equity world as well, and if there is no interest for the yen, then maybe this could continue pushing further north, maybe even all the way here towards that highest point of June near the 134.12. Euro CAD quick update. So if you remember this week I talked about this one, and on Wednesday I talked about it. So we had a bit of a retracement here, but I said that if this downside line, this steep downside line, will continue to do its job and provide a hold up, as you can see here, if we draw it this way, connecting these two peaks as well, we have a perfect reversal here from this downside line and a drop lower. First of all, need to get rid of this Fibonacci, no longer needed. And now, to be honest, as long as the pair stays below this downside line, this pair could continue drifting south. And my next target then could be this lowest point of February of 2020 near the 1.4264 level. And of course, like I said, as before, keep an eye on WTI oil. Euro GBP, also quick update. Look at this beautiful move here. And so yesterday, if you remember, I talked about this hurdle here, the lowest point of August. We did overcome the 0.8472 zone. Initially, we drifted lower, but failed to reach the lowest point of August, and reversed and pushed it back above the 0.8472 zone. So yep, it's quite interesting. So this level continues to provide that support. So keep your eyes on that one. For the upside, I would rather maybe wait for at least a push back above the 0.85 territory and then aim for the upside. And finally, EURUSD. Beautiful move here. We broke the downside line, as you can see here. We stayed above this territory, above this 1.5887 zone. I talked about it yesterday as well. So kind of good result here. So we stayed above it, and yep, we're now seeing that the pair seems to be willing to move a little bit higher. Let's see if we can reach that 21-day EMA, which is around the 1.1635 level, and then we could take it from there. If we drop back below the hurdle, and actually you need to get rid of this downside line, no longer needed. If we drop back below the 1.1587 level, I'll take a neutral stand, because for me the downside could open up only from this hurdle right here, the 1.1529 zone. So guys, that's it for this session. I really hope you found it useful, and I hope you found all my videos this week useful. So, and yeah, thank you very much for joining in and watching this one till the end, all of them till the end. So I hope you'll have a fantastic trading day today. Remember, it's Friday, don't overtrade, have your stop losses in place, and everything will be fine. But yeah, have a wonderful weekend as well, and I'll see you on Monday. As always, 6 o'clock GMT time. Thank you very much, and bye-bye.